A warm welcome to all of you guys. My name is Ritik Kharwal and I'm going to acquaint you all with the topic communication cycle. So this is the topic which you are not hearing it for the first time. We have already covered this in our earlier semester of engineering when we got a subject called business communication, and later on we understood it more technically when we got a subject called analog communication. So today my presentation will be revolving around this communication cycle only. So let's get started. Basically, what I am going to cover in this session will be communication cycle, and then I will tell you about its elements and lastly the channels and its types. So you can see on the screen there is a communication cycle in which you can see the flow of message from message source to the message destination. So the first question which comes in the mind of an individual that why we are using this communication cycle and what is its purpose. So the purpose is to transmit an information bearing signal from a source located at one point to a user or destination located at another point which is at some distance away. So we are doing nothing else but sending the messages from one point to another point. In the figure on the screen represents the block diagram of a general communication system, and its various functional elements are represented by blocks. The various elements are message source, input transducer, transmitter, channel, receiver, output transducer, and message destination. So I will tell you about the elements of communication cycle one by one now. The first element is the information source. So we know that communication system serves to communicate messages or information. So information source, what is the function of it is that all those messages and information are produced inside this information source. The message can take any form. It can be in the form of data, codes, pictures, audios, videos, etc. etc. Only desired messages are to be selected and conveyed to the further elements of communication cycle. So in short, I would say that the function of information source is to produce the desired messages which has to be transmitted. So that's all about the information source. Coming to the next element, which is a input transducer. As an electronics engineer, we knows that what is a transducer. It is a device which is used to convert one form of signal to another form or one form of energy to another form. So in this case, input is the physical form of signal which can be sound signal. So those signals are converted into its electrical equivalent. As we know that we cannot directly transmit the physical form of signal from one place to another place having a larger distance gap between each other. So definitely we have to convert it into a electrical equivalent form, and then those electrical signal can be transmitted to the further elements of communication cycle. There is no device discovered till now which can directly transmit the physical form of signal from one place to another place. We need to first convert it into electrical equivalent form, and then we can transmit it to the further ends of the communication cycle. I can give you an example of input transducer. In radio broadcasting, microphones are used to convert the sound signal, sound waves into electrical form. So that's all about the input transducer. Coming to the next element, which is a transmitter. So the function of a transmitter is to process the electrical signal from different aspects. In radio broadcasting, we know that the sound signals are converted into electrical form, and those electrical form of signal are restricted to a range of audio frequencies, and that is up to 5 kilohertz amplitude modulation radio broadcast, and it is often amplified. Whereas in case of wire telephony, there is no real processing are needed. However, in case of long distance, long radio broadcasting, radio communication, amplification is done before modulation. So I would say the modulation is a very important part of a transmitter. Now, what is a modulation? Modulation is a technique which is used to superimpose the message signal on the high frequency carrier signals. Those carrier signals are nothing but our sinusoidal signals. So, in short, I would say that the function of a transmitter is to perform signal processing, such as restriction of range of audio frequencies, amplification, and modulation. So, these kind of signal processing are done just to ease the transmission of signal from one place to another place through channel. So, that's all about transmitter. Now, coming to the next element, which is a channel. So channel is a medium through which messages are transmitted from transmitter to receiver. In easy way, I would say that it provides a physical connection between the transmitter and receiver. That's it. And now there are two types of channels: point to point channels and multi point channels. In case of point to point channels, there is only one transmitter and one receiver. Means that message is transmitted from only one transmitter to one receiver, whereas in case of multiple point channel, there is only one transmitter and multiple receivers. It means that message is shared among multiple receiver end. So that's all about the channels. Now coming to the noise. Actually, noise is a unwanted electrical signal which gets added to the transmitted signal when it is traveling towards the receiver. So it distorts the signal. It distorts the signal to such an extent that original signal gets changed. So those noise are to be avoided if we want to get a correct form of signal at the receiving end. And basically noise gets added in the channel. Due to the noise, quality of the information gets degraded, and once added, the noise cannot be separated out from the information. It means if it gets added, then it can't be separated. Now coming to the next element, which is the receiver. So in receiver, what we do is that we reproduce the message signal which is still in electrical form from a distorted message signal, and this is accompanied by the process called demodulation. Demodulation is nothing but it is a reversal of modulation process. And finally, coming to the last element of the communication cycle, which is a message destination. In message destination, the signal which is in electrical form is converted back into its original form. For example, we are having loudspeakers, and those loudspeakers are used to convert the electrical signals into sound form of a signal, and this is achieved by output transducer, which converts the electrical form of signal to another form, and finally in the last stage we get the original form of signal. So that's all about the communication cycle. I hope you like it, guys. That's all from my side. Thank you very much.